Hello, this is... You're frustrated?
I'm frustrated.
Why?
You are frustrating sometimes.
What? What did I do?
You want to talk about it?
So, listeners, in the interest of transparency...
Why? Why should we have marital transparency with the listeners?
Because that's kind of the hook of our podcast. See, I recently got hearing aids. I'm trying out hearing aids. Full disclosure.
I didn't know that's what you're disclosing. Now I don't care.
Yeah, it's a joke. I'm disclosing something else than what you thought I was
disclosing. It was hilarious because of how effective it was on me.
So, I sometimes can't hear Lacey because she's a chronic mumbler.
What? And you're a chronic no-hear-gooder.
Yeah, and I also struggle to hear people in noisy bars. And
because you have hearing damage. It is documented.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very moderate, but it's an issue sometimes. We're the perfect marriage of someone who doesn't hear and someone who hates to repeat herself. Gets violently angry if she has to repeat herself. That is not what just happened.
We had a riveting conversation that you deemed not suitable for our audience, so now we have to start over, and that's annoying.
But it is hidden somewhere. I've put it online. Maybe you can go find it, you loadies. Find the unrated cut of this episode. Okay. So, I'm trying out these hearing aids. This is day 4, and their point is rather than amplifying sound to make it louder for me, they filter out the noise. And wouldn't we all like to have a little bit of noise filtered out of our lives?
But what if I am only noise? What if what those end up doing is just you just see my mouth moving?
Yeah, I mean, they are, like, the doctor's like, I mean, these are AI. They're artificial intelligence in your ear. This is a little super compressor computer microchip
AI meaning
thing.
It learns?
It learns, yes. I don't know how it learns. Like, I don't know how it's figuring out that, like, what I'm hearing is good and what I'm missing is...
Don't you think it's probably detecting what are the most common voices that are in your life and determining those are the priority ones?
No, I think that it has, like, certain measures, and then I have to go in and, like, fill out things. Like, I go into the back end and adjusts based on my answers to things. Like, did you hear this well? Did you hear that well? My point is, so I've got these hearing aids, and what's cool is it has this feature where you can push a little microphone up to the person you're talking to if you're in a noisy bar. And can I just say something about noisy bars? You go into a noisy bar, and I always assumed, like, well, who can hear in a noisy bar? And you were like, everyone!
Certain I didn't say it like that, sir.
And so I just assumed this was, it's a noisy bar. Why would anybody be able to hear anybody else? The fucking
why are we all
music
talking
is blasting.
Then?
Because nobody actually cares to hear what anybody else says. That's what I thought.
No, but then why are we talking then? That's why we lean in to make sure you've heard us.
You're all getting together making sure I'm hearing things?
Not you.
One?
A person.
Okay.
Yes, what are you talking about? You just said, well, I think everyone's just moving around their mouths because that's fun and no one hears anything. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what I thought, though.
Ridiculous.
So, anyway, got these hearing aids. It's been 4 days. I don't really notice much of a difference.
We haven't been in any noisy
It's not like I thought it would be like putting on glasses, like if you've gone your whole life not being able to see well and then put on glasses and you're like, holy shit, is this what everybody else sees? But isn't it you would imagine to be a very, very drastic change when you put on glasses.
Well, no, because you've spent your whole life pretending you hear things, reading lips, and just finding other ways to hear things. So maybe I feel like the things that are improving for you are way smaller than you ever thought they were. But it only takes a couple of times of misunderstanding someone or not hearing them to get really freaking aggravated. For instance, my parenting. What did you just say? And then they say it at the same level, same tone, not looking at you. It's so frustrating.
Hey, everyone does. Like, for some reason, it is really hard for people when they're talking. If you say, can you speak up? Almost no one speaks up. They just say what they said again at the exact same level. Or they do it
so much louder than they need to.
Or they just, like, slow down. But, like, it's so unhelpful. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. And they're like, oh, well, I just said that I am.
Well, because they just assume you missed part of what they said, not that you couldn't hear their volume. You dummy.
No, that's not it. No, people. I think people are insecure about talking loud, and then, like, we just have trouble.
What are we talking about this for?
Why not?
I mean, I think it's interesting, but we still haven't even said who we are.
They know. I'm Matt Stokes.
I'm Lacey Roth.
This is a podcast where we talk about my hearing problems.
Load hearing beams.
Load hearing aids. One, I want to listen. People wear hearing aids. Get over it.
I wasn't on it.
I'm not talking to you.
Oh shit!
Well, it's hard
to know.
I know. And if you could hear better, you would with these magical little things that you can't even see. Seriously, they're invisible. And send it directly to your phone. You can stream stuff to your phone. That's been the most disappointing part, though, is the doctor's like, you can stream music. No need for AirPods ever again. But it sounds blurry and tinny and shitty. Podcasts sound bad, and they always like go, like one ear will stop working, and then it'll come back, and it'll distract you. But you can, if you are in school and want to wear these, you can listen to stuff during class without the teacher knowing. Anyway, hearing aids. This is a podcast where we talk about movies that we love, that we haven't seen in a long time, and we're a little unsure.
Pro or con hearing aid?
I'm neither. Well, wait. I'm pro in the general.
Neither,
I'm pro in the general, but as to my specific
yourself,
case, I don't know that they've done anything.
Jury is still out on your
Jury
specific...
is still out, correct. I have a month more to wear them to see if I want to, get a third mortgage on our house to pay for them. On this podcast, people who love each other, like Lacey and I do, we're a married couple. She is rolling her eyes and taking a big swig of ice water as I say that.
Because I'm getting so hot, turned on by all this love talk.
Share movies with each other. Can you say more, Lacey, about the podcast?
I assume we recall movies from our childhood or adolescence that are just clear as a bell, that we think we're holding them in our memory exactly as the feeling we get when we think about them. And we are just shocked when someone who we seem to have a lot of common with, hopefully like I do with my husband, that how could they have missed Curly Sue, or Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, or what have you.
Jawbreaker.
There you go. So so these are what we deem, if we have that reaction to them and we want them to, we then insist they see them, we're going to call that a load-bearing beam. I don't know, is it 50-50 where like it's actually worth a damn to watch these movies we've discovered
what do you mean by worth a damn?
Like where they actually were good, worth seeing, were worth the memory holding that we had, the torch we carried?
Usually not.
So you're saying...
Well, it's not it's
you're the one that documents all the information.
I do. I know, but most of your movies we end up not liking. Like half of my movies we end up liking. Though I like my movies more than you like them.
Because you pick safe shit.
I do pick safe shit, but it's an unfair list. I mean, we're trying to think of things that we're not sure about, so...
All right, so you cheat. You're an admitted cheater.
We just had different movie upbringings.
Oh,
you know?
Excuse me,
you come from the wrong side of the tracks.
Depends on which way you're facing.
Because I was I very early on was like a film snob, so I don't have like a vast library.
Now you're uber snob.
It's fine. Just I didn't have a vast library. Like I just don't have shitty movies from my childhood that like when I was 24, I'm like, no way, man. Fucking.
All right. I'm not... Fine, continue.
And, yeah. So we're doing our classic format where each of us picks a movie and then we discuss.
Okay,
what are the movies?
But we were just going to do one movie because last time we did an episode, I was thinking it might be more satisfying to just be able to think all the way about one movie instead of splitting up an episode and switching gears. But midway through my movie, which is Stir of Echoes, I thought I was having Matt watch Mystic River. They were so blended in my mind for some reason. Both Kevin Bacon, both same accent he ends up putting on because one's Chicago, one's Boston.
Yeah, just like blue collar neighborhood in a city, not the suburbs, in the city.
Super active neighborhood walking.
And very white, but like
yes.
Second generation white ethnic, maybe.
Right,
like,
blue collar.
Yeah.
And they both deal with a mystery of some kind, and they both deal with like not okay things to happen to children. So I announced midway, I'm like, this isn't I still really like Stir of Echoes. I just thought it was Mystic River or some combination of the two. And then you announced, well, I would totally pick Mystic River as one of mine. So it's not.
It's a little cheating because you have seen Mystic River.
I just blended it with.
Yeah. And for me, Mystic River was, I'd probably seen it 3 total times before we watched it last night. It was like the first movie that I got the first time I ever got super into the Oscars, it was like my movie. And the front runner was Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. And I was like, that fucking movie can't win. I hate that movie. and it was like Sean Penn versus Bill Murray for Lost in Translation.
Oh.
Anyway, so I did feel kind of attached to that movie, but it had been a long time.
That's interesting.
And boy, anyway, spoiler alert, boy was I wrong about that movie. But Stir of Echoes. Shall we do it?
Yeah.
Take a stir the pot.
Is there an echo in here?
Oh, I saw a guy who got a 2-inch needle stuck into his arm while he was under hypnosis, didn't feel a thing.
Okay, Kreskin, prove it. Hypnotize somebody.
Yeah, do me.
No.
Come on. What's the worst that can happen?
Stir of Echoes is 1999 film directed by David Koepp.
What else did he do?
David Koepp is mainly a screenwriter. He's written like a million movies, a million Spielberg movies. Jurassic Park, War of the Worlds.
I went the wrong way with that. Never mind. I was thinking Stephen King.
He's directed a handful of other movies. The Secret Window, the Stephen King adaptation with Johnny Depp, which I actually like.
Never seen it.
Yeah, and then some other shitty movies. But this is
so not good.
a lot of Steven Spielberg visual flourishes in this movie, I would say, and obviously Kevin Bacon very much becomes Richard Dreyfuss from Close Encounters.
Yeah, right, with the digging.
Yeah. But so Kevin Bacon is the star, and what this movie is, I'd say, most famous for is the fact that it had the misfortune of coming out very shortly after The Sixth Sense, a movie also about a creepy little child who sees ghosts.
And what do they call those? We did that on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, fucking twin films. I don't remember what they're called.
But Sixth Sense is amazing. And it was so different from anything else. That really was unfortunate timing because this movie is actually really good.
And it was based on a novel by Richard Matheson that came out in 1958. So it's not like they ripped off The Sixth Sense or whatever.
Oh, right.
Richard Matheson.
It doesn't seem like they did. It just had that. Haley Joel Osment and this kid, not as charismatic, but looked like it was a ripoff. Just by
it had to. And I watched the trailer, and like the trailer really de-emphasizes the ghosts. The trailer is like, this guy got hypnotized and now he's fucked up.
Oh, okay.
And they play Paint It Black. I think Paint It Black might be the most
that's in the movie
frequently used trailer song though.
That one in the
yeah, totally immigrant song.
Yeah.
Listeners, let us know what are some other frequently used
it's
trailer
wouldn't it be
songs.
nice if we were younger? I feel like that's in every happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, that sounds right. So you like The Sixth Sense, right?
Yeah.
When did you see Stir of Echoes?
When it came out.
Okay, and
I would have been.
What about it? What about it made you tell your story with this movie?
Oh, okay. Well, I've seen Kevin Bacon in a million things, and he's famous for being in like the most movies ever. And I just found him just not good to look at. This movie, though,
You mean unattractive?
he always played some sniveling snot nose like. He played twerps in my mind. Even in Footloose, he bugged the shit out of me. And he's a star. But this movie, if there's something, he did a kind of acting that seemed he seemed talented in this movie, where I didn't necessarily think of him as talented, just good.
I've always thought of him as just like
solid.
reliably good.
Yeah.
Is always going to be better than he maybe needed to be with the material. I've always kind of liked Kevin Bacon.
This movie made me like him.
Yeah.
And I think now looking at it, I see why it was easy to like it. It's well acted across the board. It was just enough I found it very mysterious. I had no idea what was going on. But the cool thing about this movie is even after it's good on a second and third watch, even after
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't rely on a twist.
Yeah, it's much less a twist movie than Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
So the premise is that he lives in Kevin Bacon is a blue collar telephone line layer downer.
He's a lineman.
And there you go.
He's a layer upper. They're in the sky. He's not digging.
He's the best.
He's a giant rubber phone.
lives in this house with his wife and his kid, and his kid is seeing ghosts, but his parents, in a very nice little touch, don't seem to notice that he keeps talking to ghosts.
Well, but another thing that they don't spend a ton of time not believing each other. I like that too. This movie lets you go pretty quick into the wife just believes it, even though it's disrupting, and So the kid gets believed. It's not a whole movie of just kidding, right? You know, it's like they do a really good job of just accepting each other's reality, so that you can move on with the plot. It's not about that.
When do the parents find out, or when does? Now I'm having trouble recalling this. So, when do the parents find out about the kid seeing ghosts?
Well,
or do they even know Daddy's seeing ghosts?
They don't even acknowledge that it's happening until Kevin Bacon has an exchange with him where he realizes, oh, now you're awake, Daddy, means now I'm awake to seeing things. And I don't remember. They immediately believe each other. Obviously, the kid just knows because he's got the big flashlight or whatever. But then the wife accepts it after she remembers that he specifically picked that babysitter when he couldn't have known, and he said the name of the missing girl when he picked it. It doesn't matter. It happens mid-movie. It's not the thing. It's just a part of it.
Yeah, and I thought this was going to be a creepy kid movie, but the kid's actually not a giant part of it. It's more like Kevin Bacon then gets the ability to commune with the ghost just like his kid
It's like The Shining.
has.
Right.
It is like The Shining. You pointed that out because they have the...
And it opens the same way. The kid's in the bathroom talking to nothing. And this one's in the
yeah.
tub, one's in
You're
the
right.
mirror. And you think that you just really think a lot more is going to have to do with the kid. But luckily it goes to the charismatic father fast, which is where you want it to go.
What I liked this movie a lot. What if I was disappointed by anything, I think that by the end, the way it just kind of very tightly resolves into like it was just one little mystery and we solved it. Girl was missing, but here's her body.
But it's a huge
and now the
conspiracy.
ghost can go
like,
away.
But that block, that's what you think. It's so weird how there's a triangle of people in this one block. You know, they know these bros that know each other. This neighborhood seems to do everything together. There's 3 things in a row where they walk to wherever they're going. It's a tight-knit community, and they're all really invested in them living in like the nice middle class kind of shitty part of whatever. Like they keep their town nice and neat. It might not be the best, but it's decent. They're hung up on there not being crime, right? Because crime instantly brings the value of the properties down, and that man owns 3 properties on the block. The one who ends up being the guy who helps cover up the murder. So not only are they protecting their sons who commit this awful crime, but they're protecting their idea of their community, property values, their whole look, and what they've told themselves would be important. At the sake of what? That's not
At what
cost? There we go.
And Kevin Dunn is the guy who like the dad who rather awkwardly says, one day I'm going to get one of the 38s that I own and shoot my wife. You're like, why did he just say that?
What?
When they're walking to the game, he's like, he says that phrase. He's like, one day I'm going to get one of my 38s. And so it's like early on. Because he's talking about how his wife annoys him or something. But he's like, it's literally Chekhov's gun, like Kevin Dunn's gun. He has to mention that he has a 38 so that later you're like, oh, yes, he would. What's with this guy and his 38? So obviously he knows his way with a weapon. So it turns out, of course, he's in on the conspiracy to hide the murder of the girl who disappears.
Okay, but the gun has nothing to do with the cover-up or any... all it has to do with is that his kid is going to shoot himself and try to kill himself later. Yeah,
but it signals to you that, 1, he owns the gun, so that's what the kid kills himself with. 2, when Kevin Dunn goes to Kevin Bacon's house at the end...
Yes, that he's packing. Right?
Yeah,
we can assume he's got a gun.
Yeah.
And that he's such close friends with the landlord guy. They probably both have this shared.
And it is supposed to tip you off that something darker is going on in this world.
Right, he did kind of jump to... Well, and the discussion in the neighborhood when they're discussing the girl that had gone missing, and this guy, innocently enough, a different time, calls her the R word twice, and Kevin Dunn gets just... What did you say about her? Like, he's obviously very emotional about... It's not like he loves just killing and his hiding dead corpses of girls in walls. He's really tortured by it, that he wanted to defend her honor even though he packed her in a wall and kept her as a missing person.
So Kevin Bacon's wife is played by Catherine Irby, and her sister is played by Ileana Douglas, and she is
I always like her.
hypnotist. And she hypnotizes Kevin Bacon. He's skeptical, but boy, does it work.
He's hot. He's one of the 8%. Highly suggestible.
So I like to read Roger Ebert's reviews of these movies that we
Okay.
talk about. And Roger Ebert's a Chicago guy, so he was just like so excited in his review that these people live in Chicago. This isn't like a Manhattan movie. And he says this. He
Not
says
the first city, the second.
He's like, if this was Manhattan, Kevin Bacon's wife would tell him to go see a shrink. But in Chicago, she says, he's missed so much work they're gonna dock his pay. Ooh, he works for a living.
That's
and not at
great.
one of your fancy Wall Street firms with, paid time off. He has
Yes. Right, like that's very much besides the point.
So, gets hypnotized, changes his world. Now he sees the ghosts, doesn't know that they're ghosts, or can't figure out what's the deal with these ghosts.
He knows they're ghosts. He
Whatever.
only sees one ghost. He's just open to fixing this one thing. It's not like Stir of Echo. It's not like The Sixth Sense where all
Yeah.
now he's just open.
But like the Sixth Sense, the ghosts are not hostile. They're
Right.
in need of help. They're in need of assistance.
And it's right, and it's not. It's just one ghost, and the other things are just he gets visions, flashbacks. The ghost has unfinished.
Do you find this
business.
movie scary?
I did, yeah, but well,
Like
I mean,
when we watched it the other night?
I jumped a million times. Jumping is a cheap thrill, and it'll always get me. But I did remember it more as a horror movie than it is. It's not that.
No, it's not.
It's a thriller.
Thriller / kind of
Straight.
domestic drama.
Right. You know what? I'm always wondering is happening at the very end when you think the guy shoots himself in the cellar, and then he comes up to like kill the other dad and son who have tried. What was he doing that whole time? And what did he shoot at?
I don't know.
I don't.
How does
Like
this
he
movie,
shot twice.
How did the movie end? I don't remember. There's pillow bursts into feathers. What's
Yeah.
like the denouement? What's the final? Now they're all okay?
No, fuck. They move.
To Boston. Next to the Mystic River.
Is that where they go?
I don't know.
No, they move. That's all I remember. There's
Oh,
like
okay.
a there's a moving truck, and you see how life is. Because that's another thing about this movie. You can feel the what's the word? You can feel the compatibility between Kevin Bacon and his wife. Like they're clearly very in love, and then that drifts away, and he's a different person toward her. And so I think that's really the point, is to see that, look, Kevin Bacon returned to his old self, and their old relationship is this, because they can't pass each other while walking and packing the truck without touching hands. It was sweet.
But then the kid is still like hearing the ghosts.
Oh, that was a stupid thing. Yeah, he just starts. The kid just starts talking to somebody in the car, like, "Oh, their problems are gonna follow them."
So it's teasing Stir of Echoes 2, which was a Sci-Fi Channel original movie in 2007. Stir of Echoes,
was
The
he?
Homecoming. Rob Lowe.
Oh, of course.
I don't know if he plays somebody named Ted Kogan in this sequel that has no connection to the original.
What?
Other than being a licensed sequel because the studio owned the property. Okay.
All right.
The Sixth Sense, comparing it to The Sixth Sense some more.
I haven't seen The Sixth Sense since I saw it the first time.
What?
Yeah.
Like in the 90s?
Yeah, like when it came out.
Holy shit, it's so good.
I know, you told me that, but you watched it when I wasn't here. And
Yeah, I watched it weirdly with your mom and my sister, who at the time was 13 years old. So it was a weird trio. A cool weird quartet. Me, my mother-in-law, my 13-year-old sister, and my 6-month-old boy.
Right.
Watched The Sixth Sense together. Your mom cried. My sister didn't give a shit. I was like, whoa, this is like so much better than I remembered. Because...
Well, it's just like, you're not going to be ready to see it for another couple years.
I don't know if you should see it.
Oh.
Well, there's just things that you don't like seeing in movies. Like you don't like seeing stuff with kids, like kids in danger or kids.
Wait, but I watch that all the time.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't mean you like it.
Yeah, but I still enjoy the movies it's in. It's very specific, the things that stay with me, like the
Can you
mother
talk about
thing.
them? Oh, yeah,
the
that's...
mishandling of an infant. Like, I don't like it's very hard for me to get it out of my head. Any suggestion of hurting a very little child. I don't know, up to 4. And none of it's easy, but no, up to 2, because it's the innocence of not knowing at all what's going on that really fucks with me. Or someone like swinging a baby around because they're treating a baby like it's not a baby. Freaks me the fuck out.
And randomly, the episode of South Park where Butters gets a throwing star planted in his face.
I don't like the idea of a child crying out in pain that into a vacuum, and like it just seems like he's surrounded by people who should care, and no one will care. And I know this all sounds like so like it's in everything, but it's not. When it's done a certain way, it really fucks with me. It's very like Lord of the Flies. Just the cruelness of other people throwing you out to die or sacrificing. And you know what? It's all about the acting. Because Wallace in The Wire, there's a certain guttural sound that effective actors make that makes it hard for me to get it out of my head. Maybe it's not the subject matter as much as it is the performance.
How it's depicted, yeah.
Like if it feels really real when certain people do it, like it happened.
But in The Sixth Sense, the mom, Haley Joel Osment's mom, Toni Collette, is like knows something fucked up is happening to her kid and is like just trying to get him to say it, like, and he won't. And she's like angry with him and then also afraid and has no idea what's going on.
And she's good in every movie.
Yeah.
3, 4. Everybody, love Mary Keating's